Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Malberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can sound like a pro and gain more podcast fans. Today's tip is about whether your podcast needs a website. As a podcast coach, I hear these questions a lot. Do I need a website for my podcast? Should my podcast be on my business site? Is my Apple Podcast page enough? And can I use my social media channels instead of a website? The answers are always the same. Yes, yes, no, and probably not. Now go podcast. I'm Tim Malberg. See ya. Okay, hold on a second. Let me expand a little on those answers. Do you need a website for your podcast? The answer is yes. If you're podcasting for your business, you absolutely need a website for your podcast. And if you already have an existing website for your business and your podcast has anything to do with that same business, your show should live on that same website. And this might sound stupid, but make it visible. If you're podcasting for your business, you're likely doing it for a number of reasons. It's a marketing tool, you're building trust, you're educating your clients or potential customers, you're using it to generate leads and sales, and you're using it to grow your authority. So don't hide it on your site. Make sure you got a big fat podcast button or link on your site for people to see it. So why do you need a website for your podcast? Because you want to extend that conversation and continue the listener experience. You're building this relationship, so having more than one point of contact is important. Your podcast alone isn't enough. So when you don't have a specific call to action for an episode, you need to be directing them to your website at the very least. You want everything to flow through your website. When you've got images, links, and references for an episode, encourage your listener to find out more, download a resource, or get this tool from your show notes on your website. Traffic is a good thing. Having detailed show notes on your website for each episode is also important for SEO, which will help more people find your website. Now, if you don't have a business and you're podcasting without a website, build one, damn it. Again, your show notes and resources are going to live there, and this will help your show get found online. You also want an effective about page and contact page for your website. It can really be powerful because people might get curious listening to your podcast and want to know a little bit more about you. They might just want to know what you look like if your face isn't on your artwork, so add a picture or two. Having the About page helps them trust you more and helps them feel like they're personally connected to you. And that's all a part growing this relationship that you want to have with your listener. And as for a contact page, make it easy to find and easy to use. Have a simple contact form or an email address and your social media links. And speaking of social, what about that question that your social media channels are enough or that you'll just use your Apple Podcast page for your website? Sorry, the answer is no, absolutely not. They're just not powerful enough. Definitely not if you're podcasting for your business. That doesn't mean you shouldn't promote them on your show. And if you're active in delivering great content through your channels, do that. Build those communities. Absolutely. The other thing that should be very clear on your podcast website is what's the next step they can take in extending their relationship with you. It could be as simple as subscribing on their favorite podcast platform, following you on social media, signing up for your newsletter, or it might be coming to a webinar that you're hosting, participating in a retreat that you're doing, or whatever it is your business does. What's the next step they can take past getting to know you through your podcast? So yes, if you have a podcast that is for your business, then you definitely want to have a website. If you're just starting a podcast or planning a podcast where you intend for the podcast to be your business, meaning that you hope to monetize your podcast through sponsorship, it's still very important for you to have this website because sponsors like to see you have multiple points of contact with your audience. They're going to want to see that you don't just have a great listenership, but you have a great following on social media, and you have a newsletter list, and you've got traffic coming to your website. All those different ways are ways they can access your audience, and it's going to increase the value of that sponsorship. And by the way, it doesn't hurt to secure the domain for your podcast, even if you have to add the word podcast to the end of it. Your show could live on that site or just forward to your business site. totally worth it. And I hope that's just the tip you need. Now, speaking of websites, there's one you just gotta see. It's got a big, fat, beautiful button on it front and center where you can book a free 15-minute coaching call with yours truly. And if you're curious, you can see a picture of me punching a car on my About page. Just go to podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Wolberg. See ya!